little girl runs to greet her mom, Army Specialist Relia Scott, who just got back from deployment.
Would you start by telling everybody your name?
My name is Harlem.
Harlem. Everyone, this is Harlem. Say hello, Harlem.
Little Harlem Scott, a second grader in Louisiana, had no idea what was in store when she was called on stage at the Lafton Art Center, which is part of the St. Charles Parish Public Schools.
Okay, Harlem, I'm going to ask you to do me a really big favor, okay? I'm going to ask you to welcome our special guests, okay? So when I give you the mic, you're going to say, "Welcome to our special guests," okay? Got it? All right, you ready? Here we go.
Welcome to our special
guests.
Very
good!
That's when her mom, who'd been away for 9 months, surprised her daughter in front of the entire crowd. Welcome home. Mom wails upon seeing her daughter for the first time in a year. Allison Boltinghouse has been away serving as a sailor in the U.S. Navy. When she came home, she decided to surprise the most important woman in her life. So Allison navigated through the cafeteria of the Florida school where Mom works, all while holding Mom's favorite iced coffee.
What do you expect him?
Until she finally found her. The two shared a long overdue hug and then some iced coffee. Welcome home.
I remember you. I missed you. You remember me? You doing okay?
A long-awaited reunion. This pup couldn't get enough of her owner, an Army Reserve soldier, after not seeing her for 7 long months. Sergeant Tracy McKithern rescued her dog Irby while she was deployed in Iraq. Irby was flown home to Tampa, where she patiently looked forward to her owner's return.
Oh my goodness, you're gigantic. Do you know you're gigantic? You know you're gigantic. You probably know. You want to be little bitty.
Oh yeah, and then she said hi to her hubby.
Good to see you.
Welcome home, Sergeant. This Florida grandmother was told there was a big turtle in front of her house.
She didn't see it. She didn't see it.
But her family had something even better in store for 73-year-old Mayna LeBron.
Go closer.
Her grandson had been serving with the Marines in Japan for the past 2 years and wanted to surprise her.
Go closer.
Until...
Go good.
It may have taken some time, but it was worth the wait.
This tough servicewoman is making military history.
Well, I chose infantry purely to show people that I could do what they thought I was incapable of doing.
Taylor Patterson, a college student studying animal science, enlisted in the Army National Guard to serve her country. What she didn't know is that her decision to enlist as an infantry soldier was a first for a woman in Iowa.
I was under the impression that I was like the third or fourth. I wasn't the first, and I was like, okay, cool. It's been done. Like, there's going to be some help along the way. And then I got to my unit, and they were like, yeah, you're the first one in the state of Iowa. And I was shocked. I definitely thought there was others.
During her 22 weeks of infantry training at Georgia's Fort Benning, Patterson says some of her male counterparts were not accepting of women in the military.
There was a lot of the guys that we were training with that didn't think that we should be there and didn't think that we were capable.
Patterson isn't the first in her family to choose military service.
My great-grandfather served in World War II. My grandfather served in Vietnam. And me enlisting actually led to my brother deciding that he wanted to enlist.
Private First Class Patterson feels the responsibility of being the first female 11 Bravo in the Iowa National Guard.
It was a shock, but also I now have to carry this torch, it feels like, and I'm really excited to do so and prove that females are just as able as the males are.
Daddy! Hey, bud. How are you doing?
This is one school day these kids won't forget.
You excited?
Master Sergeant Kent Simpson just got home to Oklahoma after being stationed in Afghanistan for 6 months. So he decided to turn his homecoming into a big surprise for his family.
I get 2 weeks of leave, so I'm home now. We're going to surprise my son, Levi, who is in the assembly right now on the other side of this wall. And then afterwards, we're going to go surprise my daughter at her school.
Simpson got his son's school in on the surprise.
They actually tricked him into coming up on stage by pretending to draw a name out of a hat to have him come up.
Yeah, he said later, how crazy is it that she drew my name on the day my dad came?
And his son's reaction was worth the long wait.
What was awesome is whenever he turned around and saw me, because he had no idea, he yelled "Daddy" really loud. Daddy! And so that was pretty awesome. And then he started crying a little bit, which I was kind of surprised because he's not really a crier too much unless he's like really tired. So
I usually only cry if yawn.
yeah, so he goes.
That's just your eyes.
I said, you crying? And he goes, they're happy tears.
But this dad still had one more surprise up his sleeve. He showed up at his daughter's middle school during lunchtime and hid in a janitor's closet.
Mr. Sagely said we had a special guest, and I was thinking it's probably just another cheerleader or something. And then he called up my name, and then my heart dropped.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna come back in summer.
And she turns and sees me and just freaks out and runs over and gives me a great big hug and everything. Yeah, she was in shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't know what to think.
This gentleman is a true hero. He fights for us.
This family will soon be reunited again when Simpson comes home for good this summer.
Today, we're going to take you out of school so you can hang out with me all day.
Jax the Husky is giving kisses to make up for lost time. This happened after the 1-year-old pup saw his owner Sam, who had just returned from training overseas for the first time. Sam has been in the British Army for 9 years. His girlfriend says Jax acts funny when Sam goes away. But when he returns, it's adorable. We couldn't agree more.
So the first person, if we could have, is Kaylee. The car's around here somewhere. Okay.
Hey, Kaylee! Woo! Give her a hand.
It's the junior high school mascot in Massachusetts, and he's giving student Kaylee Sitarts a high five for all her hard work this year. But wait, who's that behind the bulldog mask?
Guys, welcome home, Kaylee's dad.
Her military dad. Petty Officer First Class Brian Sitarts is home to surprise her with a huge hug after 14 months overseas.
And let's thank her dad, Brian, for his service. We would be nowhere without our military.
These two children had a truly magical experience at Disney World.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Because Mickey Mouse himself reunited them with their father after almost a year apart. The beautiful reunion happened last year when Anthony Boda returned home to Florida after 10 months of service in Japan with the Marines. Before he deployed, the last place he and his wife Tiffany brought their children was Disney World. So they thought it would be the perfect place to bring the family back together. One staff member saw Anthony in his uniform walking through the park. They asked him why he was there. After he explained, they decided to get Mickey in on the surprise. The children, 5-year-old Elijah and 8-year-old Genesis, thought they were just spending a day with their grandparents. But Mickey had some tricks up his sleeve. He built anticipation by having the kids close their eyes. But were they expecting this?
1, 2, 3.
They were surprised and overjoyed. Mickey was even proud of his Houdini skills. And just like in Disney movies, this family got to live happily ever after. This dog is a hero, and so is this one. Now they're being honored for their military work. Summer is a 7-year-old yellow lab. She spent time bomb sniffing in Afghanistan, saving the lives of numerous Marines. Now she works with this retired Air Force sergeant on a TSA explosive detection team for the Amtrak police.
The times I have training and I have to leave her at home, it's horrible.
Jag here served with the U.S. Army for 7 years. He retired in 2013 and now lives with his retired Army sergeant.
This guy took care of me. It's my turn to take care of him.
They, along with 2 of their friends, took the stage on Capitol Hill to accept a Canine Medal of Courage in front of an appreciative audience. What they did was all in a day's work, but it was work that only man's best friend could do.
This is really therapeutic.
Using the power of art, these veterans are working through challenges both mental and physical.
A lot of my early carvings, I had to make an agreement with them. They would either keep me warm by going in the fireplace, or they would warm my heart by giving them to somebody else.
Navy veteran Einar Jolson told KCCI News in Iowa that carving and painting played a big role in helping him with stress and the pain of recovering from surgery.
I get in a zone, and I forget about everything going on, and it really helps me to help reduce the pain that I deal with.
According to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, about 7% of veterans have PTSD. That number jumps to 29% for troops who served in Operations Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom.
They might have extreme anxiety, racing thoughts. Depression goes along with that.
As a recreational therapist, Teresa Johnson uses art to help veterans break through their difficulties. She says simply by finishing a project with encouragement and support,
then the veterans start to feel a sense of accomplishment, their self-esteem comes up.
Wendy Cornelius says art has helped her cope with anxiety and depression.
When I start to feel that, then I just get into maybe doodling or painting, whatever, and pretty soon 2 hours have passed and I don't have that burning feeling in the pit of my stomach, and my mind quits racing.
While the appreciation of art is subjective, these veterans show there can be beauty in working through pain. This is Inside Edition Digital. Move over, Mudang. There's a new pygmy hippo on the scene. The Royal Zoological Society of Scotland announced the arrival of, wait for it, haggis on October 30th. Named after the traditional Scottish dish, little haggis is about the size of a house cat, and this wyvern is as cute as the Dickens.
Keep going. All right, help him out. Come on, you guys, help him out. Help him out here. Here we go.
These kids are in for a big surprise.
I think you found him. There you go. Take off your blindfolds. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sam Sanderson, Army National Guard. He's been gone for 6 months.
Now that's a homecoming.
All right, Brody, let's see what you got.
A little boy thought he was just throwing out the first pitch at a baseball game, but he didn't expect to get something in return.
Your mom has been away, is that right? Do you miss her? Would you like to see her? Who's that right there?
Air Force Staff Sergeant Georgina Walton surprised her 6-year-old son Brody at a Charleston River Dogs baseball game in South Carolina. She was deployed for 7 months.
I miss you. And after all that time without hugs from each other, Brody grabbed onto his mom and didn't want to let go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Amaya Lindsay is receiving her degree in retail and consumer science.
It was the moment or moments she'd been waiting for. Amaya Lindsay crossing the stage at her graduation from the University of Tennessee. Yes, a surprise was waiting for her on the other side, but first, she had to make sure she didn't wind up as a meme.
I was mainly focused on my feet because there is a ramp, so I was like, I'm not gonna fall across the stage on my graduation.
Well, not only would she receive her degree in retail and consumer science, but she would lay eyes on her brother, Airman First Class Gerald Lindsay Jr., for the first time in a year.
Amaya and her brother have not seen each other since December.
I actually didn't notice him because I was looking at my feet, but he called my name. And then I looked up at him, and I feel like I doubled back too. Like I was shocked. I covered my face, and I instantly started crying. And then I finally walked off the stage to him.
The siblings, aged 21 and 22, last saw each other on Christmas Eve 2017. Gerald originally told his sister he wouldn't be able to make her graduation back in May. It took a little maneuvering to keep it a secret that he'd be home from his Air Force assignment in North Dakota.
The family thought he would not be able to attend today. Please join me again in applauding Amaya's accomplishment and Gerald's service to our country.
Patty cake, bakers.
This is the precious moment a little baby sees his dad for the very first time.
Roll it and pat it and mark it with a B.
Reagan was unable to see after developing health complications shortly after birth. But the now 9-month-old got glasses, while his dad Brandon was deployed to Antarctica with the Air Force. Now that he's back home, after singing Patty Cake, Reagan can't help but snuggle into his father's arms. And Brandon can't help but break down, realizing that his son can now see him. The sweetest sight for the sorest of eyes.
Daddy's two little girls couldn't let go. After a year away on deployment, he was finally home safe. Sergeant First Class Terry Gottke has been with the Ohio National Guard for more than a decade. He and his wife are both firefighters. She was there to welcome him off the bus. Their oldest daughter wants to be a firefighter when she grows up. She insists we're outside expecting to take photos when sirens started blazing down the street.
Somebody's holding in. Somebody called it out. We're having Easter. We didn't do it.
Dad had on all his gear and surprised them with his homecoming. Welcome home.
A high school football player got a game time surprise.
I'd like to call your attention to midfield, where both teams will play on.
The new referee on the field looked mighty familiar to tight end Cole Eggersheim.
Master Sergeant Joe Eckershine has served our country for 35 years.
Cole and his twin sister Olivia hadn't seen their father Joe in a year because he'd been stationed in Kuwait with the Army Reserves. Olivia, who was on the field with the cheerleading squad, was just as surprised to see her dad after so long. Knowing Dad is home safe and there to cheer him on was the best pregame motivation this player could ask for.
All eyes are on Dad as he reunites with his family in the middle of a school assembly. First, he hugs two of his kids. Then Army Specialist Seth Howard hugs the rest of his troops. And for the first time, he meets his 6-month-old son. His wife got pregnant a few months before his deployment to Jordan. This was his return 11 months later. The Ohio school organized the celebration so everyone could be a part of Howard's homecoming. And that's something to cheer about. Welcome home. Every Wednesday at 12:20 p.m., 13-year-old Amber Opperman Skyped from school using sign language with her dad, who was serving overseas. Little did she know, on this Wednesday, he was really in the other room waiting to surprise her. Amber, a student at the Pennsylvania School for the Deaf, couldn't hold in those tears when he suddenly made his grand entrance into her classroom. Tech Sergeant David Opperman has been serving in the Air National Guard for 20 years. He's been away for a week or a month at a time. This was the first time he was deployed for 6 months since Amber was born, which is why his absence was rough on the team. But this homecoming wiped all the pain away, now that this family is all back together again.
It was truly a magical birthday for 10-year-old Drake, who was surprised with a trick that ended with a big hug from his dad.
I missed him a lot.
First Sergeant Benjamin Cranebrink from Reno, who's part of the Nevada National Guard, has been serving in the Middle East for nearly a year.
There was a minute or two where I was a little bit nervous I wouldn't get back in time.
His surprise in time for his son's birthday blowout took months of planning, which included the magician himself.
But I get to mess with people all day long, trick them, and perform magic, but this was a special one.
Abracadabra, welcome home.
Are you excited?
This military dad is about to surprise his children after 5 months away. But where are they? He searches the house.
Where are they? Are they outside?
He checks the backyard. There they are. Welcome home, Dad.
Oh, my ladies, give me some love. Oh, my lady. Hi. How are you? Daddy. I'm home. Daddy. I'm home. Oh, my little buddies.
Daddy! Mommy!
You get Daddy? Grab your tissues. The hug between a 7-year-old and his military dad is bound to inspire tears. It may look like the tiger mascot of this Ohio elementary school was simply visiting students on the first day of class, but there was a very special person behind those stripes. Sergeant Perry Chronister of the U.S. National Guard had been deployed in the Middle East for a year. He missed holidays and his son Eli's birthday. When it was time to come home, this guardsman teamed up with Eli's school to make it magical. Sergeant Chronister donned the ferocious costume before walking into Eli's second-grade classroom. He waved to all, then knelt down in front of his little boy. As soon as the tiger costume head was removed, Eli leaped into his father's arms. While the two hugged, a teacher explained to other students what was going on.
So Eli's dad serves in the military. Do you know what the military is?
Yeah.
Right? You probably have some family too that's in the military?
Yeah. No.
And sometimes that means that they have to spend a lot of time away from home, which is kind of hard, right?
According to the Department of Defense, at any given time, 225,000 American children may have a parent deployed, so give them a little time. Eli and his dad have a year's worth of hugs to make up for. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm TC Newman.
That's a huge present. What has Elf done today?
What else have they done?
I don't know. I think he's just brought a present this time.
Lily and Alfie in the UK thought they were getting an early Christmas present, but when they began unwrapping it, they got the surprise of their lives in this video by the Lad Bible. Their dad had been serving 3 months in the armed forces, and this will definitely be a Christmas this family will never forget.
When a 12-year-old girl went to a zoo's dolphin show, she had no idea her family would steal the spotlight.
Please put your hands together for Christy's father, Captain Joshua Fleury of the United States Army Reserves.
Captain Joshua Fleury surprised his daughter, Christy, with an early homecoming. He had been deployed to Kuwait for 10 months and wasn't supposed to be home for another few weeks. He was allowed to come home early to spend time with his daughter before she started school again. They were both thrilled to see each other and have a lot to catch up on. As for the Fleury family taking attention away from the animals, the dolphins didn't seem to mind too much.
From all of us here at Seven Seas, thank you for your service.
For InsideEdition.com, I'm Mara Montalbano.
Since when did we become deer wranglers?
All he wanted was a pedicure. A young male deer was escorted out of a nail salon by police.
Oh, he's tired, bud.
Missouri's Overland Police Department says the buck jumped through a salon window and got trapped in a bathroom.
Little bird.
Officers opened the door to let the buck out, but he never did get his nails done.
There we go.
All Jordan wanted for Christmas was for her daddy, who was in the Army, to come home for the holidays.
Have your daddy come home.
When Jordan and her little sister went to meet Santa, they had no idea that Trent Bakersville was hiding behind him.
There's no words for it. I mean, I'm just very anxious to see them. My older daughter, Jordan, thinks she's gonna just lose her mind.
Santa was in on the surprise at the Clarksville, Tennessee Mall, and after a 9-month deployment, the girls got their Christmas wish. We bet there wasn't a dry eye in that mall. Be sure to watch Inside Edition.
They're supposed to bring cheer to the crowd, but a surprise brought these twins to tears.
I instantly started crying. That was just like my first reaction.
It was overwhelming. We hadn't seen him in such a long time.
Maria and Michaela Kemmerling are cheerleaders at the University of Missouri. They hadn't seen their father, Captain Cody Kemmerling, for 10 months while he was deployed to Kuwait with the Army Reserves.
It's been difficult, but we've experienced a deployment before. He was deployed our freshman year of high school, and that was definitely harder than this one because we didn't know what to expect.
They say this deployment was still difficult because he was missing out on getting to see them cheer at a collegiate level. But now he's able to see them in action, and these girls are just happy to have their family whole again.
It was super special, and it was really special to share it in front of the whole Mizzou family.
For InsideEdition.com, I'm Mara Montalbano. These siblings just thought they were being recognized for their good behavior at school.
Ava and Andrew, this past year you've shown both kindness, empathy, and strength in our actions.
They had no idea what was happening behind the scenes of this assembly.
We are so happy to present you with a very special moment.
After more than a year away, their father, Jacob Stock of the U.S. Navy, had finally come home.
I love my children very much. Obviously, I don't want to let them go either, but I have my duty to my country.
Every day, Andrew and Eva Stock say the Pledge of Allegiance with their classmates, wondering when they will get to see their dad again. Their school in Long Island, New York was more than happy to work with their mom to coordinate a beautiful family reunion.
This is so exciting.
That everyone got to witness.
This dad says the distance between the family has been tough.
Human touch is a very important thing.
But now that they're all back together again, there will be lots of hugs.
Gotcha.
And that too. For InsideEdition.com, I'm Mara Montalbano.
Watch as this military dad surprises his son at a school presentation.
What's up, bud?
6-year-old Adam Fontaine hadn't seen his father in 7 months. Their reunion was heartwarming.
What's up, bud?
It happened in the middle of a school lesson on patriotism. Adam wore his favorite red shirt in honor of his dad, Officer Ryan Fontaine. After getting over being speechless and a quick hug, Adam tells his father how he wants to make up for lost time.
I have a game and it's really hard.
You don't say.
Now that Dad's home safe, they have plenty of time to play. For InsideEdition.com, I'm Kelly Nealon.
This staff sergeant is surprising his son at his pre-K school after 8 months in the Middle East. Little Connor is thrilled his dad, Garrett Myron, is finally home. That's one proud son.
We'll get this food hooked up for you and everything and get started, alrighty? Okay. Oh.
A mom who just gave birth to twins got a surprise one day in the NICU. Sydney Cooper says she wasn't expecting her husband Skylar to come home from Kuwait until the spring, but he turned up in February.
I was really shocked because I'm texting him in that message he had asked for an update for our girls, so I'm texting him back thinking he's in the middle of a desert. He was not.
Skylar serves in the Kansas Army National Guard. He had been deployed for 7 months and knew he was going to miss the birth of his twin girls. But one day he got some unexpected news.
They came up and they said, pack your bags, you're getting a bus to go leave in 2 hours. And so the bus took us to the airport and everything just moved from there.
Sydney had to give birth alone, but she and Skylar stayed connected through texts and Skype. 12 days after the girls were born, he got to meet them in the NICU where they are remaining for the time being. Now these parents are looking forward to the day the whole family gets to sleep under the same roof.
Well, I don't know about everyone going to bed at the same time, but it's definitely going to be nice to have everyone in the same house, and after this year it's going to be nice to have everything kind of put back together.
I put your surprise outside the door, buddy.
For me?
And the rest of the family was certainly happy to have Skylar come home. The couple also have 2 young sons who are happy to see their dad again.
Who is that, buddy?
Hey.
Even the family dog was thrilled.
Oh my heavens.
The family is relieved they won't have to wave goodbye to Skylar anytime soon.
They were actually able to demobilize me and I'm back for good, so I don't have to go back anywhere for a while.
For InsideEdition.com, I'm Mara Montalbano.
A military father surprises his daughter at her college graduation. But it took a little work to make it happen. Major Brett Lee and his daughter Claudia have always been close. Stationed in Germany with the Army, Major Lee was heartbroken, thinking he couldn't make it to her graduation ceremony. It was also his alma mater.
When you have these significant events, and this is probably the most significant event of her life so far, I mean, that's something that I would do anything to be at.
He wrote a letter to the president of Claudia's school, asking if he could make a video to play for her during the ceremony. The president read it out loud.
So of course I said yes. Claudia and everyone, please watch the video screen overhead.
She was really surprised that I had shot a video. And then her emotions changed because, of course, the video doesn't work.
Just a second more.
But when technical difficulties happen, you bring in the real thing.
I didn't see him for a while just because I was looking up at the screen waiting for it to start, so.
I mean, it was exhausting, but it was a thrill of a lifetime to be part of this special day. And the whole time, I'm sure she's just, really like, what has Dad done to me?
With him, I expect nothing less. He has always done everything he can for us. So honestly, that's like the most dad thing to do of him.
It really was something special.
I'm Kelly Nealon for InsideEdition.com.
Attention pre-K1, I have a special announcement for a little boy that I flew so many miles to see and to tell him how much I love him.
After 7 months overseas, U.S. Air Force Master Sergeant Shania Porter made 2 special stops to see her sons.
So this was my first deployment with children. So initially it was very rough. It took me a little while to kind of get adjusted because I was just so used to being a mom 24/7.
After surprising her 4-year-old son Blake over the intercom at school, she headed to his classroom. Porter's second stop was to visit her eldest son, 5-year-old Bryce, who thought they were FaceTiming 3,000 miles apart.
I heard you were crying today.
Porter had called her son while outside on his school's playground.
Well, what if I told you you didn't have to cry anymore? Hey, where are you? Does this look familiar to you?
It was an emotional reunion as Bryce ran outside.
It was like a flashback of memories, like, putting them to bed and taking them to school. So it was super emotional for me.
For Porter, serving the country is her calling, but being a mom always comes first.
I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that I make them proud of me, my family proud of me, and that gives me comfort. So.
For InsideEdition.com, I'm Kelly Nealon.
Now a priceless moment that these first graders, and more importantly, their teacher, will never forget.
A first grade teacher gets the big surprise of her life. The mask comes down and her jaw drops because her mom, an Army sergeant, is back home after a year-long deployment in Iraq. Her students quickly figure out what's happening.
It's his mom!
Hey guys!
Samantha Norris still can't believe it.
The last thing I expected was for my mom to walk through that door. She is always one for surprises, but this one I was not expecting at all.
And people can't get enough of that speedy mask pull down.
Everyone keeps telling me how funny it was that I pulled down my face mask. I just had to make sure I was singing it correctly.
Welcome home, Sergeant Mom.
It's your mom!
It was a very special Veterans Day for 2 families in Indiana, as these military-serving mothers surprised their kids at school. Brittany Bullock has been in Kuwait for the past 11 months. Her sudden appearance after so much time baffled one of her daughters.
How'd you come?
I flew on a plane.
You flew in the plane for us?
Yes, I did.
And Alyssa Story got a happy shock when her mom showed up at a school ceremony.
I didn't know she was going to be here, so I'm like, what the?
Amanda Story also has been away for nearly a year and knows the separation hasn't been easy.
She's done amazing since I've been gone. She's taken it hard, but she's stuck in there and she's helped count down the days with me. So we're back together now.
Amanda then got to surprise Alyssa's brother and sister at their school.
It was hard. I wanted to see him, but I knew that this would make it all worth it. So.
Two families that have a lot to be thankful for this Thanksgiving.
You get to spend time with me today. You don't have to go back to school.
This is InsideEdition.com.
With some help from Photoshop, this family can somewhat be together for the holidays. Staff Sergeant Andrew Smith is stationed overseas with the Marines, so his wife Andrea got creative for this year's Christmas card. She enlisted the help of photographer Leslie Owen to combine two images into one epic picture. The result? This adorable photograph. Owen snapped a shot of Andrea sipping from a Starbucks cup on the floor of a Target, then superimposed Andrea's daughter standing on a shopping cart being caught by her father, a separate image taken by one of Smith's fellow Marines. It was meant for a few laughs, but has since warmed hundreds of hearts across the internet, bringing smile and cheer just in time for the holidays. For InsideEdition.com, I'm Kelly Nealon.
A family separated by thousands of miles is reunited in a touching photo. 26-year-old Daphne Gimlin says she saw a local photographer advertise free photo shoots for military families and jumped at the opportunity. Her husband, Air Force Staff Sergeant Richard Gimlin, has been deployed near Dubai for 3 months. Back in South Carolina, Daphne is holding down the fort at home, caring for 2 children and 1 on the way, and they all miss Richard. Photographer Erin Marie was able to create this image for the family so they can still feel like Richard is with them. Daphne said seeing the photo was very emotional for her. She's hoping Richard will be home in time for the birth of their child in November, but in the meantime, they can at least see their family back together again. For InsideEdition.com, I'm Mara Montalbano.
Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do.
Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel. Amazing. Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition, streaming.
Daddy! A visit to Santa got these kids an early Christmas present. 11-year-old Declan and 7-year-old Connor hadn't seen their father Chris in months. He was stationed in the Falkland Islands with the Royal Air Force. When Santa asked the boys what they wanted for Christmas, Connor could only think of one thing.
What do you want for Christmas?
My dad to come home.
You want your dad? Why? Where is he?
He's at the Falkland Islands.
He's at the Falkland. What's he doing there?
He's at work.
But Santa had something special planned for these kids.
Now about this daddy. Do you think if we wished really hard, and closed our eyes and wished hard, daddy might come back? Let's wish hard. Let's hold hands and wish hard. Ready? Wishing hard for Daddy to come back. Daddy! Daddy!
The family was all together to take their official holiday photo. Chris doesn't know when he'll have to report back for duty, but in the meantime, he says he's going to enjoy every minute he has with his family.
This American hero, home from active duty in the Middle East, hasn't seen his family in almost a year. He's about to give them the surprise of their lives. Look at his mom's priceless reaction.
okay, Mom? Are you surprised?
I'm definitely in the right hospital.
Are you surprised?
NFL star Shaquem Griffin knows what it's like to be told you can't.
You know, coach told me that, football is for a two-handed player game, not a one-handed player game. And I ended up getting my first ever interception and ended up winning the game and going to the championship and playing.
He's been defying stereotypes ever since, playing defense with his twin brother Shaquille for the Seattle Seahawks. Shaquem is currently the only player in the NFL with one hand. It's no obstacle for him, though.
I just put my hand in my eyes where the ball is going. So no matter where the ball going, my eyes always go with the ball.
Shaquem is also focused on giving back, which is why he met up with two veterans who are also defying stereotypes. All three share a love of gaming.
My name is Jeremy Daniels. Avid video game player. Still have my original systems from when I was a kid.
My name is Israel Del Toro Jr., also known as DT. Gaming, at least for me and I know for others, it's where it makes us forget about everything. Helps us focus on having fun and being with your friends.
And Jeremy and DT had the chance to sit down and play with their new friend Shaquem.
How's it going, man?
Let's go, man. We got the bumps going. We got everything set up upstairs. Let's get this show on the road.
The three guys got in front of the big screen to game together. And it was clear they were having a lot of fun and talking a little trash.
We're not going to live this down, are we?
But the guys also felt they could open up to Shaquem about the challenges they face.
And of course, after my injury, I had to adapt to figure out, man, how am I going to play these games?
I have multiple sclerosis, so mine's more degenerative versus, you guys, you're hit once, now you have to learn to deal with it. Mine, I get hit 50 different times and never learn how to deal with it.
It was a fun day for these guys and a powerful lesson in resilience for the rest of us, too.
This little girl brought a talking teddy bear for show and tell.
I love you, Leah. I want you to know I miss you, my princess. I can't wait to come back home to you.
But whose voice is coming out of the teddy bear? It's Leah's soldier dad serving in the Middle East.
We're going to have Leah come right over here, and she's going to play it one more time, so listen up.
I love you, Leah. I want you to know I miss you, my princess, and I can't wait to come back home to you.
Now comes the best show and tell surprise ever.
Hey, Leah. Special show and tell.
Hi. Hey, girl. Oh, my goodness. It's so good to see you. Oh. I missed you, sweetheart. Yeah. Oh. It's so good to see you, girl. Hey. You doing your show and tell? You doing your show and tell? Yeah. Hi.
High school sophomore Dakota Davis is dreaming of a better holiday season for those who served in the military. He organized a collection and donation of hygiene products, clothes, and an American flag keyring for veterans staying at the Iowa Veterans Home in Marshalltown. For the teenager, his motivation hits close to heart, telling KCCI,
I got a lot of family that was in the military and a lot of friends that have graduated and went straight into the combat training.
400 gifts were distributed, and Dakota couldn't believe the generosity from his community.
Kind of starstruck when I saw all the donations compiled in my living room. Couldn't even see the coffee table, which was awesome.
It's a few years away, but Dakota's already thinking about his future.
I've thought about going into the military, but I've also thought about just going straight into the workforce as a mechanic.
A sophomore salute helping to spread holiday cheer to the heroes who came before him.
This team got the surprise of a lifetime from a very special fan. Jada McGee came in first place at her championship relay race, but she had no idea who was waiting for her at the finish line.
Are you nervous, chick?
More than she is. Jada's mom hasn't been able to make any of her meets this season. Captain Erica Woodson is serving with the military in Alaska and hasn't been back to her home in California for 6 months.
Or being apart from my children and not being able to be there for their
activities was really hard.
So when it was time to come home, she had a big surprise for 13-year-old Jada.
Right there.
Come on! Come on! Jada says seeing her mom pushed her to run even faster.
Coming down the home straight, I was excited because I was in first place and I saw my mom close to the finish line, so it made me start running faster. She was putting her hands up and clapping, and I was like, oh shoot, that's my mom.
And their emotional reunion made Jada's victory on the track even sweeter. Mother and daughter plan to keep training together this summer, Jada says.
Now that my mom is back with me, we plan on training for track so I stay in shape and I could continue running as fast as I have and maybe run faster.
And Jada is happy to have her mom and coach back by her side.
Hey, let me introduce you to Dr. Splinter real quick. Hey.
Hey. Dr. Alice Splinter thought she was going to see a patient. Little did she know, she'd be seeing her husband.
It took a second for me to take it in. I honestly almost passed out. My knees got a little weak, but I was so happy to see him. I just had to hug him and stand there and just take in the moment.
Joshua Splinter is a family physician for the Texas Army National Guard Reserve. He spent the last 5 months deployed in the Horn of Africa.
In the meantime, while I was there, deployed, she was really just holding everything together while I was just out, having fun.
All right, so my wife doesn't even know I'm here.
Joshua found out he was coming home earlier than expected, so he knew he had to do something special. With the help of a friend, he planned to show up at Alice's job. To keep the jig up, he fibbed about where he was, pretending he was still in a different time zone.
I'm talking to her on the phone and I'm having to say, all right, I've got to go to bed, but really it's the same time, otherwise it's all going to give it away.
Hey. Hey.
Well, even though he is not scheduled to be deployed in the near future, the question now is, can Joshua outdo himself next time around?
This was a great surprise. I was happy to have him home. I missed him quite a bit.
From heroes overseas to heroes at home, these reunion stories of dads and their kids are making us melt this Father's Day. Dad! A home run of a homecoming surprise. When siblings Carly and Cameron threw out the first pitch at a minor league baseball game in North Carolina, they had no idea Dad was disguised as the catcher. Air Force Technical Sergeant Lance Daigle just returned home from Southeast Asia.
Tonight we have a special one catch player catching those first pitches.
Dad! Now those hugs had to be felt across the stadium.
Join me in welcoming
These two blindfolded kids were in for a big surprise when Dad showed up on the basketball court at a Utah Jazz game.
All right, help him out. Come on, you guys, help him out.
Major Samuel Sanderson had been away 6 months.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sam Sanderson, Army National Guard.
Siblings sobbed in their dad's arms, overjoyed to have him home. Abracadabra! It was a magical birthday celebration for 10-year-old Drake from Nevada. In the middle of a magic show, his dad appeared, ending this stunt with a big hug.
I missed him a lot.
First Sergeant Benjamin Cranebrink, who's in the Army Guard Reserve, just got back from Kuwait. This must have been the best birthday gift ever. Every week, this dad Skypes using sign language from overseas with his daughter who's deaf.
Our last call. And Mommy, for lunch.
13-year-old Amber had no clue this time around that he was actually in another room at her Pennsylvania school. Tech Sergeant David Opperman has been serving in the Air National Guard for 20 years. This was the longest he's ever been away. And you can just see how glad Amber is he's home safe. For these kids, this school assembly was about to get emotional. Carrying roses, Sergeant Antoine Guibault surprised his 3 children in front of the entire student body.
I can't even describe it. It's so amazing. I didn't sleep at all last night.
He was stationed in Africa and just came home.
After all, home is where the heart is. Happy Father's Day.
The weekend has gone to the dogs. Pet adoption fees waived for veterans at California's Helen Woodward Animal Center. Some of the orphaned pups are finding forever homes with those who have sacrificed themselves for our country.
Oh my gosh, look like a beagle.
That's what we were saying.
Looks a lot like a beagle.
There, dozens of vets are served each month. The therapeutic animals help lower blood pressure, improve memory, and lift spirits. These are the kinds of smiles only a tiny puppy can bring. Happiness as two new family members meet and embark on a new journey together.
She's the one going home now.
Yeah.
Rowdy helps his human Greg Walker in many ways.
Helps out a whole lot, that. Like, it helps me focus and have something to care about. It means a lot to me.
Walker is an Army veteran, and Rowdy is the emotional support animal who loves him through his post-traumatic stress disorder. Walker told WSAW.
He helps with my depression and keeps me busy.
Rowdy came to Walker through Wisconsin nonprofit organization Little Charlotte's Rescue.
We're so happy that we are able to make a difference in even just one person's life.
Organizations like Little Charlotte's Rescue that waives fees for combat veterans can be crucial to a veteran's mental health. The Department of Veterans Affairs says it does not provide service dogs for physical or mental conditions, including PTSD, but it will provide veterinary care for service dogs that are deemed medically necessary.
It's a win-win. These dogs are finding homes, and the veterans are finding companionship. So that couldn't make us happier.
For Inside Edition Digital, I'm TC Newman.
Is this the smartest bear in America? He is not just digging through the trash, he is actually walking the trash can out to the curb. A security camera in Alabama captured the bear's very human-like moves, and this video has now gone viral.
It's a rite of passage these veterans waited decades for.
Alan Bunch.
After putting their high school educations on hold to defend their country. This week, they were finally awarded their diplomas at a special graduation ceremony.
It's difficult, though, you know, when you gotta go out to a war like that. It changes everything.
William Enoch Morgan waited 75 years to take his graduation march. He joined the Army to serve in World War II and was one of 10 veterans to be honored during Operation Recognition. The partnership between the VA and Superintendent of Schools in San Bernardino, California, gives veterans their long-awaited credit.
We've had many of them say that the diploma is more important than the medals they have on their uniform. That's how valuable it is to them.
Families of these veterans say it's a joy to see their loved ones finally get the appreciation they deserve.
He's watched us graduate. It was weird to see him graduate.
But some of them might realize that their high school days weren't all they were cracked up to be.
I told him that now that he got his diploma, he's got to get a job and move out of his house. It's his house, but he's got to move out.
All right, doggone boy, I'm gonna get you right here. Right there.
So him and I have just got an unbreakable bond. He's always there like, hey Dad, we want to achieve greatness. And the only way we can achieve greatness is to work together.
My name's Danny. I'm the training coordinator for the Veterans Program at Tony La Russa's Animal Rescue Foundation.
Down. And then I guide.
What I do here is I train veterans to train their dogs to be service animals.
I got into training like this because I trained my dog to be my service dog.
The bottom line is that we're pairing veterans with shelter dogs. The veterans, for the most part, when they first get here, barely leave the house, feel a lack of purpose in their lives, having left the military, and sort of like, what do I do now? And so one of the huge benefits is that they have a place to come to, they have a purpose.
The same way we bond in the military is how these dogs bond to their people, is through the rigors of life together.
Go get it. Oh, he's a good boy. So this is Maximus. He's 3 years old. I've had him for almost 2 years now. Gosh, I love the dog. Give me. I was struggling with PTSD and depression, some things of that nature. It really wasn't going anywhere, wasn't doing anything, was just kind of existing instead of living. Man, Max came along and it was just like an instant, it's like an instant change.
From the moment you join the military, you're paired with a battle buddy. You're not allowed to go anywhere by yourself because it's dangerous. And the moment you become a civilian, you try and get your buddies to go to the store with you, and they're like, why do you need me to go to the store with you? The dogs are selected so that they could cause the least amount of stress on a person that already regularly feels stressed just from their day-to-day.
This is Lady. She's about 5.5 years old. Lady's helped me get out of my shell by just being this cute, adorable dog. People, once they see her, they smile, and their smile makes me smile.
Some of the most substantial growth I've seen in veterans is people with agoraphobia, fear of the outside world, just being out and about.
Before I got Lady, if I was extremely depressed, sometimes I wouldn't get out of bed. I just needed to find more reasons to get outside, and I was feeling lonely. A lot of the things I'll just do just to make her happy. Just seeing her happy makes me feel happy.
The dogs needing to be just walked every day get them out and about, and before they know it, they're starting to socialize because people are coming up and talking to them.
She's brought purpose, and she's taught me that it's okay to feel happy in this crazy, stupid world.
The feeling that they have of responsibility for their dogs and taking care of their dogs is just a wonderful purpose for them to have in their lives and can make a huge difference.
I can be depressed and I can sit in my room and I can stew, I can sleep, I can drink, I can do all those things, but my dog's gonna be all jacked up because he's not getting the exercise.
A lot of veterans have a hard time sleeping, and night terrors will wake them up, so the dogs can provide deep pressure therapy where they lay across their chest or their lap, and their weight and their heartbeat, the warmth of their body, their breathing, can make it much easier for them to get their heart rate back to normal and get some sleep.
I've got nightmares. I sit up in bed a lot, and if I need him on the bed, I can do that. He's on the bed immediately.
Yes. And they come in being like two different individuals, and then you just see the personal growth of both of them, and you just see them bond over time through mutual trial and error. What we're doing is important because for me, I found it's something that works.
Which is generally what's recommended by most therapists, is some form of grounding.
We're giving people their lives back. You see a sense of confidence emerge, you see them relax, people going back to work, having rich, full lives as opposed to isolated lives at home that aren't working. It's beautiful.
He's just been beneficial in helping me realize like life's good and life's okay, and even the crappy moments and the crappy times are still gonna be okay.
These are people who gave everything. I feel like anything we can do to help restore a sense of purpose and a feeling about being where they're supposed to be and having a life is just tremendously valuable.
The goal that Max and I are working towards is him being the best service dog that he can be and me being the best person that I can be. With him by my side, there's nothing gonna hold me down, nothing.
This was a moment this military dad will cherish forever. His family was finally together again.
I can't even describe it. It's so amazing. I didn't sleep at all last night.
In front of hundreds of students at this Connecticut elementary school, the sergeant surprised his 3 children with his homecoming from Africa.
I want to hug them.
Their mom wanted to do something fun for the kids since they're now old enough to enjoy it.
We've never had a big homecoming. Now they're all a little bit older and kind of get it a little more, so I wanted to do something big for them.
And this was certainly the heroic way to go.
Tonight, I'm here for my daughter Cassidy, who's a part of the choir singing the national anthem. Cassidy, I can't wait to be home soon, and I can't wait to see you. I love you, Bug.
10-year-old Cassidy was brought to tears when her dad, Staff Sergeant Clayton Walker, recorded a touching video message for her before she sang the national anthem with her elementary school at the Atlanta Braves game on Wednesday night.
Oh, say, can
What Cassidy didn't know was that her dad was actually back in America and planning to surprise her on the field.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Sigonella, Italy, please welcome Staff Sergeant Clayton Walker.
After being gone for nearly a year, Cassidy couldn't believe her dad's surprise. The two couldn't even stop hugging. You bet there wasn't a dry eye in that stadium. It'll surely be a special day that Cassidy will never forget.
The things fathers do for their little girls. Look at Philip Curry twirl around with his tiny ballet dancer during dance class. He's even holding a pink wand. The daddy-daughter duo to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo from Cinderella was part of a fundraiser for the dance school. Loved ones were welcome to join the students on the floor to participate in a choreographed routine. It's one way they were able to spend time together since Philip's in the Air Force. Point, plie, and spin. Thank you for this dance, Dad. You're this year's Father of the Year.
This hobby woodworker goes out of his way to salute veterans. Bob Brown never served in the military, but he likes to honor those who did. The retired pharmacist brought some of his wood handicrafts to former classmates at a high school reunion. He told WSAW that he gave wooden flags to some of the veterans.
To see this bunch of guys that you grew up with basically in school having tears run down their eyes. And that's pretty darn good encouragement to do it again.
Brown and his wife Sue have made it a mission of sorts to give patriotic art to veterans they meet around their central Wisconsin community.
The amazing part is that he made that many, and he made them by hand, and he puts a lot of detail, a lot of thought into each one. Just rewarding for us too, to see their reaction, to know that they're not forgotten.
There are flags and eagles loaded into the back of the Browns' vehicles. When they meet a veteran, they're thanked for their service with words and a piece of art, like Jared Kyle, who met the couple at a grocery store.
I was just having a bad day. He says, "Hey, I see you're a veteran. I've got something for you." And he opens up his trunk and hands this to me. And it's the most beautiful thing in the world.
So many of them that we do give stuff to say they've never been thanked before. They're unbelievably thankful.
Brown has created projects with wood since the 1960s, but now he has found a new purpose.
To know that you made a difference in somebody's life, you made their life a little better, you know. And by doing what? What I love to do.
We'll struggle on. These wounded warriors are marching to the beat of their own drum. That I am myself. Calling themselves the Resilient, and this band of veterans is using music to heal. Nate Kalwicki on the guitar lost his right leg in Afghanistan. Marcus D'Andrea on bass lost both of his legs. So did singer Tim Donnelly. Juan Dominguez lost his legs and his arms. But he's not letting those injuries stop him from playing the drums.
I am a drummer. I'm the drummer for the Resilient, and we're going to do big things.
Greg Lohman met his bandmates while they were on the road to recovery.
Through the recovery, we all discovered this really intense passion for honest musicianship, and they've all gotten so good.
And the house in the woods where they have band practice is made just for them, equipped with wheelchair-accessible doorways.
It gets a little ridiculous. It's like bumper cars.
I want you like I've never wanted anything but true. Tim Donnelly writes songs about falling in love with his wife, but also uses songwriting as a way to process his injuries.
We just wear our scars on the outside, whereas most people have, you know, they've got all their own messed up stuff going on inside.
And it's my own fault that I've got no one else.
I wouldn't go back and change things, you know.
Yeah.
It just shifted the course in my life.
Definitely, I wouldn't change it. There's a contentment and kind of like an excitement to knowing that like I'm where I'm supposed to be.
And the band is living right up to their name. The Resilient is working hard on their first album.
Keep getting better, keep getting stronger, keep playing. It doesn't feel like it can go anywhere but up.
We'll struggle on. For InsideEdition.com, I'm Stephanie Officer.
Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah.
What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do.
Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel.